I certainly, I'm just, obviously we had some, but please, if you could introduce yourself. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I would introduce myself at first before my PowerPoint. Sure. Where's my PowerPoint? Oh yeah, I'll do myself. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, here. Okay. Yes, this is correct. Yes, I'm Wang from the Institute of Oceanology and the Yantai Institute for Coastal Zone Research, Chinese Academy of Sciences. I'm afraid some of you would disappoint because I will talk little about the food web, the community structure, because as a physical oceanographer, it is quite difficult for me to talk about the fishery and the marine biology, especially in English. And also because I'm a little bit in the jet lag right now. Today I'll talk about what we have done and what we are doing facing the future and sustainability through connecting the coastal and open oceans by the two institutes and the Center for Ocean Megascience, Chinese Academy of Sciences. And first of all, I will give you some background. You know, the coastal zone play a very important, even crucial role in the academic development in China. For example, the 11 coastal provinces and cities in China occupy the only 13% area, the 42% population, but contribute to almost half mature cities and about 60% GDP, the almost 8% foreign investment, and the almost 90% export. So there is very active human activity in the coastal zone of China. And meanwhile, as you may know, there are lots of ports, bridges, sea reclamation, aquaculture, fishery, and the dams, industrialization, the fertilization, urbanization, not only in the coastal zone, but also the water shed. And in the past several decades, there are more and more the red, green, brown, and other colors ties resulting from the different algae blooms and other eco disasters such as jellyfish bloom, hypoxia. For example, from this figure, this is a global distribution of low and declining oxygen, and the China Sea is one of the very heavy area with the hypoxia. And based on the observation during the past almost 20 years, we found there are larger and stronger hypoxia near the Changjiang estuary and also in the semi-enclosed Bohai Sea. And also there are more and more the red tides emerging in the past 3 decades. And since 2008, there is the green tides taking place every year in the South Yellow Sea, approaching to Qingdao and Shandong Peninsula. And there's very wide continental shelf east of China, including the Yellow Sea and the East China Sea, and there's very complex structure of the velocity, the nutrient distribution or some fishery ground. And there's very complex and very close linkage of the coastal sea with open ocean through the very strong western boundary currents, crucial. And also there's very huge warm pool in the Western Pacific, which is the center of action for interannual climate mode, the El Nino and the Southern Oscillation, and impacts on the global and regional climate weather, especially in China. And this area, I mean, the Western Pacific is also the origin of the very strong cyclone influencing the precipitation during summertime in China. However, there is very large gap in this area in the global ocean observation network. So what we need to do is not only to carry out the study combining the coastal sea and the open ocean, but also to establish the long-term observation in the coastal sea and open ocean. And the next, I would give you a very brief introduction to the Center for Ocean Megascience of Chinese Academy of Sciences, established just last year. And according to the Global Ocean Science Report published by the IOC UNESCO, the highest priority of marine science includes the marine ecosystem, the ocean climate, the ocean health, the human health and well-being, the blue growth, and the geohazard, ocean technology, ocean observation, and marine data. And so the marine science is closely linked with the sustainability. And the marine science is featured as mega science because we have to meet the national demand, including the environment protection, the ecological civilization, and the sustainability. We have to carry out our study among different disciplinaries, including the physical, the chemical, and the biological process interactions, and we have to maintain or operate the major facilities supporting observation and analysis, so we need more and more money. I think that you are the similar with us in China. So last year, as a new generation, the new organization of the Chinese Academy of Science Reformation, we established the Center for Ocean Megascience as a new engine for further development. We will coordinate the research vessels, the observing networks, the instrumental analysis to maximize the utilization and the sharing of the facility resources. We will integrate the IOCAS, the Institute of Oceanology, and the Yantai Institute for Coastal Zone Research to across the border between coastal and open ocean researches. And we will integrate 13 Chinese Academy of Sciences institutes and the College of Marine Science, the University of Chinese Academy of Sciences, to connect the scientific research, technical development application, and the graduate students' education. And the COMS is composed of 4 parts. 2 of them is the platform, and the other 2 is the research unit. And the central platform is a research vessel. We operate the 10 research vessels from 4 institutes of CAS, and these research vessels range from local, regional, and the global classes. And in the past 4 or 5 years, we coordinate the ship time and organize the cruise, several cruises each year toward the Western Pacific Ocean, the Eastern Indian Ocean, and the China Seas. And we established 4 coastal stations along the eastern coast of China, and also the long-term observing arrays in the Yellow Sea, East China Sea, and the Western Pacific. And also, we are operating the analysis and testing center, including large infrastructure facility from 6 CAS institutes, and this center began in 2008. And there is the big data center collecting data from research vessel, so observing networks, and the analysis and testing center, and the data products and the visualization will be used to support the policy making and social development, as well as the scientific research and technical development. And the research unit includes the core research unit and the multidisciplinary research units. And the core research units is the integration of the 2 institutes. The 2 institutes located at the Shandong Peninsula, only 1.5 hour express train between the 2 cities. And the 2 cities are both beautiful coastal city. Maybe some of you visit there. And this integration of the 2 institutes has the 3 research tasks: the ocean health, the multi-spherical interactions, and the marine life process. And the first task is about the ocean health mechanism, strategies, and solutions, focusing on the ecosystem observation and simulation, the ecosystem health assessment, and the ecological disaster prevention and mitigation. We want to offer this strategy and planning and solution to central and government, and also the industry companies. And the second task is about the multi-spherical interaction in the Indo-Pacific Convergence Zone, focusing on the integrated observation and exploration. The multi-spherical interaction process study the modeling and the simulation. And also, we want to develop the comprehensive multi-spherical interaction theory and the Earth system model. And the third one is about marine life process and green development of bioresources, focusing on the marine life in deep ocean, the new varieties and species for the aquaculture, and also green agriculture modes for farmers. And the multidisciplinary units include the 13 Institute of CAS, including the acoustics, atmospheric physics, the automation, geology and geophysics, the microbiology, the chemical physics, and the bioenergy and bioprocess technology, and material medica, and also South China Sea Oceanology Institute, and geochemistry and deep sea science and engineering. And so these advanced research teams relevant to marine science will join this mega science center to deal with some issues about the sustainability. And also we combine with the College of Marine Science, the University of Chinese Academy of Sciences in Qingdao is just under constructed. And these units include 3 directions: the marine engineering and equipment, the marine resource exploitation, and the prevention and the control of marine disasters. And there will be 7 R&D centers. And at last, I would introduce some progress in long-term observing system construction and also scientific results relevant to our topic today. As I mentioned earlier, in the past several years, we established the observing networks in the coastal sea and open ocean, including 4 stations along eastern China coast, such as the Jiaozhou Bay and the Muping Bay and the Yellow River estuary and Yangtze River estuary. So we can monitor the variation between the 2 mother river of China. And also we established 3 observing arrays in Yellow Sea and East China Sea and the Western Pacific. And in the Yellow Sea and East China Sea, thank you. There are almost 30 surface buoy and offering the atmospheric and oceanic parameters near the sea surface every 10 minutes. And in the Western Pacific, we established the CAS Scientific Observing Network. We call it as CASN. Includes 30 subsurface mooring in this area across the main current system. And the data time series lasts for 3 to 4 years. And you can see one of them, the time depth variation of zonal current at 142 degrees east at the equator in the upper 1,000 depths. And in 2006, we developed a technique of real-time transmission of data from the ADCP located at 400-meter depth. And last year, we applied these techniques to some of our subsurface moorings, and also we extend observing data real-time transmitted to the office from 1,000-meter depth to 3,000 depths. So you can see these records at 3,200-meter depths, including the pressure, the temperature, and the zonal velocity. And the zonal velocity has the amplitude of a diurnal cycle is much stronger than those in the surface layer. So that means we have to develop a new concept, a new method in our deep sea circulation model development. And based on the long-term observation and the basic research, we made some progress in scientific research, such as we proposed a new concept of marine ecological ranching just for the farmers and local governments to use the different strategies in the coastal zone, the very shallow, middle shallow, or deep shallow area with different strategies. And based on our long-term historic observation and the basic study on biodiversity and marine ecosystem, we systematically study the mechanism and process of eco-disasters such as the red tides and green tides. For example, since 2016, we established a system combining the satellite remote sensing data, the in situ observation, and numerical modeling. We trace the evolution of green tides and give the government a prediction for them to deal with the green tides. And also we developed the mitigation method of harmful algae blooms with modified clay. This method have already used in the large events in China, including the Olympic Games in 2008, also used in the waters near Chile. And also based on the long-term observation and the numerical model, we, we simulate the variation of the open ocean circulation and the coastal sea circulation, also the distribution and spread of the phosphate in the bottom layer. And we found the coastal algal blooms are closely influenced by the timing and the location of the phosphate-rich cold crucial branch current near the bottom there. So based on these results, we can predict the time and the location of the red tides because we have the in situ mooring and the buoy observing array to give some earlier signals. And based on our mooring system, the structure and variability of the western boundary currents, the undercurrents, and the equatorial currents and undercurrents were directly observed for the first time. You know, it is quite difficult for us to monitor the velocity in the subsurface and intermediate layers, especially near the equator. This is the result along the western coast and also just near the equator. And we found there are very significant variation on different time scales from intraseasonal, seasonal, and interannual time scales. And the next step, we will try to establish the connection of this kind of open ocean signal and the coastal sea response in some nutrient supplement of the coastal sea. And as a summary, the comps of CAS will try to be a comprehensive research center with global influence and contribution, an opening and sharing facility cluster for science, technology, innovation, elite talent cultivation base, and a platform for collaborations with domestic and international institutions. Especially, the comps of CAS will act as bridges connecting the coastal and open ocean study, science and technology, and academic and social industrial requests based on integrating, coordinating, and sharing the advanced platforms and the task teams of CAS. And yes, if you have any question or some suggestion for future cooperation, don't hesitate to email me. Thank you very much.
So we do have some time for questions. Are there any questions? Please come to the microphones if you have one. I have one.
Okay.
Are there biological
Oh.
data sets associated with this as well? Are those available to download?
Yes, very good question. Yeah, in the past, several years, we carried out many large-scale investigations, including physical, chemical, and biological measurement in China Seas and the Pacific Ocean. And we also established the data center. And there is, I forget, maybe I can give you the website of our data center, and you can send your application. And actually, we will release to public maybe 2 years later when our scientific project ends.
Okay, excellent.
Hi, thank you for that presentation. It's very, very impressive, very ambitious. One thing, though, that I didn't see on there was any social sciences. And so I just thought I'd ask what the vision might be for that, things like economics, employment, et cetera.
Okay, thank you. Actually, our institute, the Institute of Oceanology, has an international advisory board. And we hold the international assessment every 2 years. And several years ago, the advisory board suggested us to establish a new team or department with some social scientists. Yes, we are planning to do that. So the natural scientists and the social scientists can work together to not only suggest but also influence the policymaker. Yeah, thank you.
So session 8 is Western Boundary current session, and Western Boundary is one of the hotspots for the global warming.
Yeah.
So is there any evidence that some extreme event in the coastal region happened by the changing of the Western Boundary current?
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I have a lecture during the Clever conference in Qingdao, and I give talking about the Western Boundary current in warming up ocean, and actually there is some evidence for the most warming rate in the Western Boundary current region, but there is still very large uncertainty in different Western Boundary current area. And recently, we just finished a research. We found not only the mean flow of the Western Boundary current, but also the eddy activity. The eddy activities will influence the heat flux. And the heat flux is quite different between the cyclonical and anticyclonical eddy, but they happen in different time. So the two kind of the heat flux can plus to strengthen to each other. So I mean, in the next step, if we want to know the trend of Western Boundary current and the warm trend, we shall study the variation on different time scale. Yeah.
It's nice to see such integration of the deep ocean and the coastal observations there. And I'd like to say, I think that's very exciting, the phosphate transport onto the shelf and the linkages. Does that occur preferentially with canyons, or is it over a broader area that the phosphate is carried onto the East China Sea shelf? Is that known?
Actually, I have not exact answer to you. Maybe. Okay, thank you.
All right, well, if there aren't any more questions, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a gift for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.